Hello and welcome to a new devlog video for Peasant Uprise. By the time this video is published, I'll be basking in the European sun, having tapas y cañas in some low-key patio. It is really nice to be back home, although I grew up a bit far from the mainland. Still, it does feel like home when you get to be around family and around people of your own culture. Even though I'm on vacation, that doesn't mean that I've taken a break from Peasant Uprise. In fact, this is a great moment to force me away from the computer and back to pen and paper. There are still a few things that I need to make decisions on, some levels to design, biographies to come up with, and quests that need some dialogue. But I tend to put all these things aside when I'm in front of a computer. So it's kind of the break I need to get all these down on paper. Google Docs and Trello help a lot, but I find refreshing to go back to the old pen and paper to sketch and write things down. Maybe it's because I take more time with it and I think things through a bit more. Or maybe because I don't get distracted with other things or notifications or even crashes that my PC sends to me. For whatever reason, I find comfort in designing things in paper and feel like messing up is okay. I've said many times in this series that I'm very visual, and that's why I've been developing Peasant Uprise with very little preparation or decisions in mind. But with such a massive project, I've run into many problems because of this. If I was to do everything all over again, I would have spent a bit more time thinking about at least the main elements of the game. Looking back though, I believe the reason why I work this way is not only because I'm more visual, but also because all of my initial goals were introduced as a question. For example, can I do this? Or could I make a bunch of units do an assigned job? So I didn't think ahead of what happened once I figured that out, or what would be the implications of that feature. And once I accomplished that, I would ask the next question. Can these jobs require different tools? Could I figure out how to make a peasant change jobs? I think you can figure out where I'm going, and the best way to describe it is a lack of confidence, or simply lack of experience with the Unity engine. If I get to work on more projects, I would not be in this mental state. Now I know I can build whatever I set my mind to, and I feel pretty confident in my skill level to achieve these goals, or find ways around the obstacles that I may encounter. From a design point of view, I've learned to make things more granular and generic to achieve these. I don't see can a peasant perform a job. Instead, I see a number of steps. I need to define whether a peasant can do the job. I need a peasant to go to a given destination. I need a peasant to take job configuration, which contains animation, sound, and job duration. I need a working point to play visual effects. And I need to stop work and head back to location. Once I break it down into smaller points, I have no doubt then that I can do each individual step. And it's just a matter of putting everything together. The advantage is that had I come up with this before building the game, I could have seen similarities with other game features, for example challenges. In a challenge, I also need to check the tool requirements. I also need the peasant to go to a given destination. I need to take the challenge configuration, which contains an animation and sound, and a job duration. I need a working point to play visual effects, and once the job is done, I need the challenge to stop and go back to the original location. So as you can see, both game features follow very similar and almost identical set of steps and could have been built using the same components. However, when you're building things as you go, it's harder to see these similarities, and refactoring some code now to make it fit in both mechanics could be problematic. So to summarize, if you're someone starting out in game development and like me are very visual, my advice is to first become very confident with the toolset. And I would recommend starting with some generic prototypes so you can experience the challenges that takes to complete just one feature. After building prototypes, you may be inclined to extend on those prototypes to build your game, but I strongly suggest that once you feel comfortable with the framework, it is time to get down and dirty with pen and paper and chop whatever ideas or characters come to mind. It's much simpler to iterate on paper than on Photoshop or Blender, so be efficient with your time. And finally, don't let your drawing skills turn you away from this. I'm horrible at drawing, but that's okay. The point is that it bridges the gap between a thought and a visualization. Finally, I've also found that it's a lot of fun to come back to your old drawings and sketches and kind of see the journey of an idea, which may end up just like the original concept or completely different. I should be back in California shortly and with enough time to implement some of those things that I've chopped down on paper. Hopefully I can share some of the progress in the next devlog. If you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, and click on the bell to receive notifications of upcoming devlogs. With that said, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next update.